start with the news about the Thai economy assessment report by OECD. It said that, of course, Thai economy expect to be negative this year, but it will bounce back slowly next year. The 163 pages assessment report by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, said that Thailand actually has made impressive economic and social progress over the past decades, thanks to the strong policy framework, friendly business climate, and attention to citizens' well-being. But COVID-19 crisis might send the country into a severe recession soon, like many other countries. So, of course, Thailand cannot escape it. But expert projects that the economic growth will contract sharply this year, but it will bounce back in 2021, which is next year, of course, because Thai government has managed the outbreak very well. However, the lockdown measures have affected domestic demand, and the weak employment prospects weigh on confidence of businesses and households. So the recovery will be slow and will have a scarring effect on long-term productivity. Though the macroeconomic policies have been supportive, but the uncertainties of the future course of the outbreak is still highly uncertain. So OECD suggests that the government should look into the investments that will strengthen the healthcare system and also prepare for a second wave should it happen, such as increasing protective and testing capacity. And the report also focused on the informal workers group, particularly women in Thailand, which was described as vulnerable workers. Their lack of access to sufficient social protection and lack of training opportunities. The report suggests the Thai government should come up with the measures to upskill and reskill this group of workers and make the post-outbreak economy more inclusive and productive. The report concluded that the skill needs in the labor market in Thailand has not been assessed in a regular and systematic way. So the government should develop tools to regularly assess skill needs at the national, regional, and sectoral level to be able to develop human resources with the right skills. Actually, in this issue, I think Labor Ministry has been talking about this for a while, that they need some more help from the private sector to involve more with what kind of skill that the labor market would need. But in Thailand, some education institution also cooperate with some private sector, some company, to actually come up with a program that will focus on the skill set that each company work. Like Toyota, I'm not sure what university Toyota working with, but there is a university that cooperate with Toyota, that they come up with what skill set of the worker they need. The report also talk about the access of the education. It starts with the press. It praises that Thailand has been doing very well in expanding the access of the education. The participation of general education is high, especially in the elementary level, but there is a but. But students in the rural areas still doesn't have enough access, and the students or children from the poorest families still do not attend school. And the exclusion rates are high in the rural areas. Also, the last portion of the report talking about international trade. They focuses on the service sectors that have become important and essential to the international trade. Statistically, the service sector in Thailand are more strictly regulated than in other ASEAN in Asian countries. So much so that it hinders the expansion. The report suggests that Thailand should try to remove barriers, particularly regarding the international mobility of skilled workers, by expanding the coverage of smart visa. And they talk about foreign direct investment that is essential to the expand exports of the services, though the restriction on inward foreign direct investment have been eased in manufacturing, but not enough in the service sector.
So that's the analysis on the Thai economy for this year, and there's still some sort of hope here that next year it will bounce back, but in more of a slow process because of the COVID-19 as well.